Okay, we're still on 8.2, analyzing arithmetic sequences in series. We're still dealing with sequences, and this is video number 4, but we're going to write a rule for the sequence given two terms. Okay, so let's give that a try. So I want a rule for the nth term in the sequence. So now it just gives me two random terms. We've done it where it gives you the first term and the difference. In video, that was video 2. Video 3, it gave you a random term and the difference. But now I don't know the first term and I don't know the difference. And our rule that we plug it into needs that first term and it needs the difference. And I don't have either of those, so we have to find them. Well, just like I did in the previous video, I used these terms, plugging them in for an and n, except the only problem is I did not give myself enough space to solve this problem. So let me get a little piece of paper here. Sorry. Okay, so I'm going to give myself a little more space because that's just not going to cut it. Okay, not that you need a ton, it's just I need some space. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do, so step 1 is I'm going to write a system here, which means a system of equations. Okay, so I'm going to use this equation, but for the first one, okay, if I look at these as two different things, this is n and that is an. Okay, so if I write my first equation, I get 17 equals a1 plus n minus, I just said that was n, so this is 7, I'm sorry, times d. Okay, and that is really, really messy. Let me actually make that a little better. Sorry about that. Let's white that out. My whiteout doesn't even want to work. Nothing's on my side here. Okay, so this is a 7. All right, so 7 minus 1 is 6, so this ends up being 17 equals a1 plus 6d. Okay, I'm going to leave it just like that for a second, and I'm going to write this one. Remember, this is n and this is an, so I'm going to write another equation. So I end up with 93 equals a1 plus 26 minus 1 times d, because I still don't know the first and difference. Okay, so this simplifies, if I just simplify that part, 93 equals a1 plus 25d. Okay, so here is a system. I want to solve for a1 and d that is true for these. We've done systems where we had like x and y, and we wanted to find the x and y that makes them both the same, except in this case we're wanting a1 and d. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these equations and I'm going to solve it for a1. And I'm just going to take the smaller one. So I'm going to take this equation and I'm going to solve it for a1. So in this case, a1 is going to equal 17 minus 6d. I've got to subtract 6d, and then I can find a1. Okay? And so what I'm going to do for step 2 is substitution. I'm going to take that a1 and I'm going to plug it into my other equation. Okay? So I'm still using this one, so 93 equals a1, which is 17 minus 6d, plus 25d. Now if you look, the only variable I have is d. So this is going to help me find that difference. Okay? So let's combine some like terms. 93 equals 17 plus 19d. Let's subtract 17 to both sides. Ugh, sorry, my pen doesn't want to work. So I get 76 equals 19d. To solve for d, I'm going to divide by 19. Alright, so this substitution helped me find d. I find that d is 4. Okay? Alright, so I found d, So that's going to tell me step 3 is substitute D in to find A1. And so I'm going to take this D and I'm going to plug it in where I had A1. I know I'm writing all over. This does take a little bit of space. Okay. So now I can substitute that in. I get A1 equals 17 minus 6D, which we said D was 4. So A1 equals 17 minus 24, which is negative 7. So there's A1, there's D. I can plug it into my rule, okay? So that's my last step, is write the rule. And I'm going to move up just a little. Looks like I got a tiny bit of space here. Okay, so step 4, write the rule. So AN is going to equal negative 7 plus N minus 1 times D, which is 4. So AN equals negative 7 plus 4N minus 4. So AN equals 4N minus 11. There's my rule. Okay. This next time, I'm going to do it just a little simpler, like not take up quite so much space here. Granted, I wrote really big, but let's do problem number 8. Okay, this time I'm given the 5th term and the 12th term. Okay, so we're going to write our system of equations, okay? Remember, AN, N. Okay, so just this part gives me the first equation. So it's a negative 43 equals A1 plus 5 minus 1 times D. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and simplify this. This equals negative 14. Oh my goodness, no it doesn't. I don't know where you even got that. It's negative 43. Equals A1 plus 4D. Okay? The second equation is right there. N is 12, AN is negative 8. So negative 8 equals A1 plus 12 minus 1 times D. So that's negative 8 equals A1 plus 11D. All right. And what we did was, for substitution, we had to solve one of these for A1, and it doesn't matter which one. I'm just going to do the top one. I've got to subtract 4D over, so A1 is going to equal negative 43 minus 4D. Okay? So I'm going to substitute that into my second equation. So negative 8 equals A1, which I said was negative 43 minus 4D, and it's plus 11D. Combine some like terms. Negative 8 equals 43 plus 7D. Okay? Got to keep solving here, so I'm going to subtract the 43. Okay, so this is just solving by substitution, and we did this when we reviewed that, I think, all the way back to chapter 1 last semester. So, all right, negative 8 minus 43 I think I did my example wrong. Would be negative 51 equals 7D. Okay? Oh, no, this is a plus. See, I apologize. I had negative 43 here and I lost my negative. I thought something seemed wrong. This was actually add 43. I had the negative there and I lost it, so I apologize. See, my human is showing. I'm human, guys. Alright, so negative 8 plus 43, that seems more correct. And that is 35 equals, and then what I had left over there was 7D. Okay? We divide by 7, and I get that D is 5. Okay, so I found D. That's helpful. Okay? Now, to find A, we're going to take that D and we're going to plug it in all the way up there. I know now that I did that, I'm going to probably end up with arrows. I like arrows going places. All right, so A1 is negative 43 minus 4 times D, which is 5. Well, negative 43 minus 20 is negative 63. So there's A1, there's D. I can actually write the rule for the nth term of this sequence. All right, so AN is going to equal the first term, negative 63, plus n minus 1 times D, which is 5. Distribute that 5. So AN equals negative 63 plus 5n minus 5. So AN equals 5n minus 68. There is my rule. All right. Hopefully you don't make some human mistakes. See, negatives, they just disappear. But go ahead and give the practice a try by doing numbers 32, 33, 38, and then move on to the last video.